Hello, welcome to a video on how to integrate Pro Ledger using Zapier. I'm Steve Penner, the creator, founder, owner of Pro Ledger. Welcome to the video. All right, let's dive right in. So what is integration, you might be asking, and why would you be interested? Basically, integration means that application programs can start transferring data and communicating with each other. So in this diagram, you can see that there's an example of, let's say there's three different application programs that you use currently. And from them, you want to transfer the information into your Pro Ledger bookkeeping program. For example, let's say you have a PayPal account that when you sell something online, that PayPal would collect the money. Now, normally you might have to then make a manual bookkeeping entry in Pro Ledger whenever that happens. But with Zapier, you can create a situation, a script, or a Zap, they call them, where it'll grab the PayPal transaction and process it as a bookkeeping entry in Pro Ledger. And another example would be, let's say you had an invoicing software program you were using, like Square, which is a very popular program. And when you send out an invoice and your customer pays it, or let's say it's just a receivable, you can have a Zap set up that will transfer that information as a bookkeeping entry into Pro Ledger as a sale or as a receivable. And so you get the idea. And same with if you had a payroll program and so on. So there's lots of different possibilities. Zapier has over 6,000 application programs in its database, and making many different connections quite possible. So let's go through the basics and show you how this can be set up in Pro Ledger. All right, so here's the steps. There's 4 steps in total, and nothing technical really. It's just follow the instructions and they make it quite simple. Step 1, you're going to want to go into Pro Ledger and create what's called an API secret key. Now, a secret key is a very long number that is unique and gives permission for data to flow into the Pro Ledger bookkeeping program with that key. So let me just show you how to set that up now. So if you're in your Pro Ledger bookkeeping file, in this case, my file is called demo file, and I'm going to go into what's called API key. Now, I've already created a key here, so just ignore that. But in normal cases, if this is the first time you're doing it, you wouldn't see Stripe API here. But we're going to create another key. You can create as many keys as you, well, actually in the basic version of the program, you can create up to 2 keys per file. And in the expanded version, you can create an unlimited number of keys. Now, you can use one key for all the different Zaps in Zapier, so you don't have to really have too many secret keys. You can have one really if you wanted to, but anyways, let's create one. Let's call it let's call it a Zapier key, and we're going to use it in Zapier, so maybe something descriptive. You could call it anything you want, and we're going to use this for the demo file. So I'm going to give the file name, or you can put the date in there. You can say it's January 2024 or something like that. And here's the key. Now, you're only able to show this or view this key this one time. And because it is secret and you don't want it to get loose on you. And if it does, for some reason, it get exposed on the internet, which should never happen. But if it does, or you're concerned about it, just delete the key and create a new one. And that's pretty easy to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose copy so that it's copied to my clipboard and I can paste it later into Zapier. And also, you could download this as a text file, and so that you have an actual copy of it there. So there you go. You've got the key, and it actually gives you the date it was created, so I didn't probably need that in the name. But anyway, there it is. And let's close that. So you've created the key. That's step number 1. Step number 2, let's create a Zapier account or log into Zapier. That's pretty easy to do. They do have a free version of the program. It allows you to data transfer 100 times a month. And then after that, if you have higher volume than that, then there's a subscription. And Zapier is the largest service of its kind on the internet. So it's a leader in this space and would be a good place for you to work. So let's go into sign up, and I'll show you how easy it is to sign up with Zapier. Let's just create an email address, and oops, I'm just gonna put my name in there, get started free, and put in a password. I'll just do that. Okay, and there you go. And they want to make sure that you're not a robot, and you're in. So they give you a couple of setup prompts, you know, to get to know you. Let's say you're a business owner and you're doing data management. And now they say, which app do you think you might use? So I'm going to put in a Pro Ledger, because you're going to want to use Pro Ledger in this case. And there it is. So you just select it as an app that you want to use. Continue. Are you new, familiar? You know, so we're gonna, if you choose the option, it might give you a few prompts to help you get started. But I'm going to say I'm familiar, and I'm going to use this. Okay, so you're in. This is the Zapier screen that you will see when you log in, first log in. Okay, so we've done that. Now we're going to choose and connect your apps in Zapier. Okay, and this is a AI powered box to create what we call creating Zaps. It means little scripts that tell you tell Zapier what you want to do. So you just say it in regular words, and for example, when there's a new sale in PayPal, record income in Pro Ledger. Okay, so we're just going to say that's what we want to do. So now it's going to create a script based on what you just typed in there. And you can say when there's a new sale in Stripe or new sale in WooCommerce or whatever it is, you could just use that as the name of the app. In this case, we're using PayPal as our example. And I should mention that the way the Zaps work here is that at this point, you can only zap information into Pro Ledger. Okay, so whatever other applications you're using, you can have data transfer into Pro Ledger from other apps, but you're not able to use Zapier at this point anyway to transfer data from Pro Ledger to other apps. So it's a one direction kind of integration here with Pro Ledger. Anyway, there's your Zap, they call it. A little script, record PayPal sales to Pro Ledger. And step one, if there's a successful sale, then create a record in Pro Ledger. So let's just go into it. And we're going to have to, it says try it, but you're going to have to set a couple things up here. And we'll show you how that works. So basically, you're going to go through these steps on the right side in the app. Now, when you go continue, it's going to either have you do one of two things. Either in some cases, it'll simply ask you to log into, in this example, PayPal using your PayPal password and user ID. And you only have to do it once, and then PayPal becomes part of your Zapier account for future use. Or you may have to use a code to make that connection to Zapier. In this case, they want you to use this particular unique code, copy it, and then go to this link, and you'll go into your PayPal account, and you're immediately presented with a screen to paste in this code into PayPal. So it's pretty simple, and you can see there's the instructions. So whatever application program you're wanting to connect to Pro Ledger, when you go to this step, it's going to instruct you on how to connect this account into Zapier to make this transfer happen. Anyway, so we're going to test it. And it's going to show you some data, or if it doesn't find data, it's going to show you some sample data, okay? Just so you can test it. And if you want to find more records, choose find more records, and then choose one that you want to use as a test. Continue. I'm just going to use that. Now with Pro Ledger, it wants you to connect, because it's the first time, you only have to do this once, to connect ProLedger to the Zapier account. So now, here's the instructions on how to connect ProLedger using the API key. So go to the dashboard of ProLedger and then select Tools, API key to find your key. Now we've already done that, right? So we're just going to click in here and right click to paste in the key that we created in ProLedger. And then we're going to connect. So now we're connecting our ProLedger account into Zapier for this script. And you only need to do this once, okay? So if you want to make more scripts with other apps, Zapier remembers it. So let's continue. All right, now we're going to map the fields. So if you go back to the bookkeeping file, you got all these different fields, right, to do a bookkeeping entry. Well, it's going to present you with those fields here. And you simply choose what it is you want as information on these transfers. So, the rec field, yeah, I'm just going to leave that as select. The transaction type we're going to say is income, but I could choose expense or cost of goods sold, but this is going to be a sale, so I'm going to choose income. And I'm going to choose the class as, let's say, general business. And the category name, I'm going to call it other income. It's basically grabbing the field names or the category names from your bookkeeping file here in the demo file that you have in the setup screen, right? So whatever you have set up here, for example, you can choose in here now. I don't have a subcategory. It's not required anyway. And let's say the account is going to be, that's going to come across to my checking account. So whenever there's a sale in PayPal, this is what I want the bookkeeping entry to come across as. Now description. So I'm going to say, yeah, whenever I get a sale in PayPal, in the description field in ProLedger, I want the first name and I want the last name. And let's say I want to have a comma, so I'll push a comma symbol in there. And I can just say I want maybe the item name. And let's say you want to have the invoice name or so on. And here's the invoice. So you can just choose whatever data you want to come across in the description field of the bookkeeping entry. And then the amount, I'm going to get rid of this. And I'm going to say I want the gross amount to come across for that sale as the amount in my bookkeeping entry. Now you have to decide, is that number represented in dollars or cents? Now if there was no decimal in there, and it is $25, but it displayed it as 2500 with no decimal place, then you would choose cents. But since it's already expressed in dollars, I'm going to leave this as dollars. Does it include taxes, the $25? I'm going to say yes. And it's going to include, let's say, one of my sales taxes here, that particular amount. So now what am I going to call this particular Zap so that when it comes across to my bookkeeping file, I can see the Zap that it's used. So in this case, I'm going to say it's a PayPal. I'm going to leave the Z there for Zapier -PayPal. And we'll just use that as our source name. And you're going to see that this will come across as part of our bookkeeping entry. So I'm going to now just test this. Okay, so I'm going to refresh the fields and then test. And so now test step, and now it's processing this sample record in PayPal and going to send it over. So our record was sent to ProLedger 0 seconds ago. So now we can go over to ProLedger. And now if you want to see that particular entry that came across, just refresh the screen. And you're going to see at the top a notification icon right here. And it's going to show that there's one record that came across because of an integration. So to see them, you just click on that, and there it is. So you can see that what's come across is an income entry to general business. The category is other income, checking, or description is here. And then you can see the source name. It came across as Z-PayPal is what we called it. Just helps to know which Zap is being used. And then $25, including the GST. So I can edit that now if I just double click on it and make any changes if I would like. Or I can even use an auto editor and create a script. And there's a video on that you can watch later to automatically edit entries as they come in here before I process them. So anyway, if you had 5 sales or 10 sales, you know, this particular number would keep increasing when you refresh the screen. And at any point in time, if you want this to be part of your bookkeeping file, you'd have to then accept this. You could edit it, take a look at it, and then choose next. And when you're ready, and it says you're now ready to import into the regular bookkeeping file, choose finish. And there you go. So now you see the bookkeeping entry has come across and you've accepted it and you've processed all the records. So now that indicator has disappeared. So that's really all there's to it. If you like the Zap and it's working for you, then you can simply choose publish to make it live. And of course, there's ways to add steps in between there. So let's say you only want to record a sale if it matches a certain criteria in the description field, or you can create unlimited number of Zaps. So if you have a certain customer name that you want recorded differently, you can add filters in the middle of this to do all that. Or if you want data to only come across once a week or once a month, you can even put a time step in there. And so there's many different ways to enhance the Zap that we've created here. And but anyway, you can play around with that. So once you're done, you can go back to your screen and you can see that it'll record your Zaps for you in this screen. And you can delete them and you can edit them and you can run them and turn them off and that sort of thing. So that's really all there's to it. And you know, you can play with that, and I hope you found this video helpful.